Okay guys, looks like we've finally loaded in, so welcome back to the AMD.2 Premier League. Welcome back to Game 2 of this best of 3 set for Round 1 of the playoff portion of the event. It's Mith.Trust versus FXOpen, and FXOpen, the qualifying team from the non-SEA qualifier, are currently 1-0 against Mith.Trust, the invited team. So I'm basically from here in association with Dota Talk. It's a pleasure to be casting tonight, and again, I'll be joined for biased commentary by Swizzler. How you doing?
Doing quite well. Thank you, Basket.
Awesome. Okay, so FXO, Game 1, looking very convincing. A little bit of an unconventional draft. We saw an Ursa. We saw some really nicely played Ursa from March, so looking forward to seeing what else the man has up his sleeve for the second game. Again, we were both surprised to see that the OD made it all the way through, and I mean, it could be that they've got the stand-in, and that's making things a little bit different as far as the what they can pick and what they can play is concerned, but yeah, for now looking pretty strong, and Mith.Trust hoping to tie it back up 1-1 to keep themselves in the running for this event. And FXO going to start us off with a ban on the Alchemist. So it looks like they've been doing their homework because Lakel's is known for the hero. So we'll see what Lakel's ends up on this game.
I'm feeling a Templar Assassin pick from FXOpen.
Despite not having Kimchi here? Maybe.
Yeah, despite not having Kimchi here. It's a hero that they really like to use. And I guess it depends on how the bans and picks shake out, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, you know.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, could be. We'll have to see. So Shadow Demon's going to end up being the ban for FXO. Nyx Assassin and Wisp going to be removed from the pool by Mith.Trust, and Batrider going to be taken by Mith.Trust, and FXO. Are we going to be seeing perhaps some Treant strats? They grabbed the Weaver first, but going to be following it up with Vengeful Spirit. And Vengeful Spirit is a hero that I was expecting to see more of against Batrider. And here, there's a couple of reasons why, but the main reason being just so that, you know, when Batrider jumps somebody, either you can swap your carry to break the lasso and get them to safety, or you can swap the Batrider to break the lasso and get the Batrider back into the middle of your team. So, nice response, and it often forces the Batrider to focus the Vengeful Spirit, and even a BKB on the Bat will not be enough to stop VS, you know, just consistently breaking the lasso. So FXO looks like they have a little bit of a plan here. I've seen the Vengeful Spirit as the pickup against Batrider before. It's not as consistent as you would like, because sometimes once Batrider has his Force Staff, it's very easy to drag people away anyway and still get the abduct. But I think FXO, that's kind of the tactic that they're going for here. We'll see how it ends up working out for them. VS did get a small swap range, or actually a very reasonable swap range increase in one of the most recent patches, so that sort of helped out the strategy a little bit there.
Yeah, it was a good counter pick, and I mean, if you let the Batrider go through to the first pick team, well, you know you're probably going to be dealing with him, and so they probably had this planned out, you know, even before they started with the bans.
Yeah, I think, yeah, FXO very deliberately leaving the Batrider in the pool, and we'll see if Vengeful Spirit will be what they're looking for as far as the response. Visage is going to be picked up here by Mith.Trust. So I feel like the lanes so far are, I mean, at least as far as their plan is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. Try and solo the Batrider, who's one of the strongest solos in the game. Have the Visage forming an aggressive tri-lane. But FXO, they've got options so far. They've got the Vengeful Spirit, one of the best roaming supports in the entire game. And I think Mith.Trust, very wise from them to ban out the Lifestealer. He's the most popular carry at the moment that you can just leave behind in the lane. So Mith.Trust know that they want to go aggressive, and they want their aggressive tri-lane to actually find somebody. You know, when you come down to the aggressive tri-lane, you're like, we're going to get kills, and then Lifestealer is kind of standing there looking at you, and then you do something to him, and he just rages, and he runs away. So I think a good ban for Myth. Faceless Void going to end up being banned here by FXO. I have not the foggiest idea why. Not a very common pick at the moment, very easy to punish, even more farmy than Anti-Mage. Actually a hero that Lakel's is known for as well, so surprised to see that the Faceless Void is the ban, but maybe FXO are seeing something that I don't.
Well, yeah, they could just pick up the DK for the Kells again, like they did last time, you know? So yeah. I don't know what they're doing with the Faceless Void either, but the Darkseer is a good pick. You know, be able to get on the solo lane. I mean, do you think, so the Batrider versus Darkseer, when they're 1v1, I mean, does Batrider come out on top?
So I'm not actually 100% sure on that matchup. The Weaver suffers. Oh wait, so the Darkseer, the Weaver, sorry.
10 seconds remaining.
I think I phased for a second there.
Well, just thinking the Darkseer, I mean, he might be just put by himself on the off lane.
Against the Batrider,
I guess he'd probably
not a
against
great
the try.
matchup. It's not a great
Yeah.
matchup for him, honestly. Sorry, I spaced for a second there. The Weaver, not a great matchup either. The sticky napalm slow really hurts his mobility when he's trying to Shikuchi around. It doesn't affect his move speed too much because Shikuchi is so crazy. But yeah, the turn speed reduction really hurts him. But FXO pick up the Darkseer. They could look toward. They played a lot of Gyrocopter as their carry during the NSL, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like that from them. Very potent in the tri-lanes. But for now, just going to keep focusing on the ganking in the tri-lane, and they're going to pick up another tri-lane powerhouse in the Crystal Maiden here. So it looks like Darkseer and Weaver are going to end up as the solos, and one of them will have to match up against the Batrider. So we'll see what FXO's plan is, at least as far as that's concerned. They could go for the triple solo dual roam support and try and kill the Batrider early on, but they would have to try and find a solo safe lane hero for that first.
Well, the Crystal Maiden's going to let them, you know, sustain their mana with her aura very well. You know, so, and especially, yeah, I don't think they're going to go for a lot of movement. I think that they might just try to concentrate on pushing, You know, I'm actually not sure what they're going to go with. The final pick here is probably going to have to be a carry.
Yeah, I think it has to be a farmer, a right clicker to partner up with the Weaver heading towards the later stage of the game. But again, if it's going to be Gyrocopter, then they can't afford to bring the supports away from the lane. If they want to be able to roam the supports, then they need to look to pick up somebody, maybe Anti-Mage, maybe Juggernaut, somebody who can just sit in the lane by himself. If he gets jumped, he does have a way out. Mith.Trust, they've got lots of damage as far as the tri-lane is concerned. And we do have the Morphling pickup here, so it looks like I think that's going to be Lakel's hero. We'll see where they end up laning it. They could still be looking for a mid, could still be looking for a solo safe. They've got options. FXO still really looking for that farmer. Unfortunately, they have to deal with a ban before they get the next pick out of this round, so we'll see what they're able to get their hands on.
Yeah, I don't think an Anti-Mage pick would do too well against this lineup with you know, the Morphling. It just doesn't feel like he's going to become. It doesn't feel. It feels like this game is going to be kind of decided in the mid game. You know, it's not really going to get to the late game, or you know, even AM's late game, which usually comes a lot sooner than you know, most other carries or a lot of other carries.
So OD's going to end up being the ban here for Mith.Trust. Again, I said that FXO, something that they do have up their sleeve a little bit, and that Mith.Trust hadn't banned last game, so maybe they had that option there. But no, FXO, they're just going to pick up a Storm Spirit here. And that means that they don't really have a bunch of too much late game, and I think I have to agree with you that the battleground is going to be the mid game. Morphling and Weaver, as far as carries are concerned, are both very impactful in the early to mid game with their mobility nukes, waveform, Shikuchi. And yeah, it should be very interesting. There's going to be damage flying out everywhere, soul assumptions, Batrider drags, Storm Spirit drags, and I wish the teams would stop pinging on the map.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think they heard me, but yeah. So Puck's can actually wrap it up for Mith.Trust. Not the greatest 1v1 solo against the Storm Spirit, actually, because if you phase shift an overload hit, it doesn't actually dispel the overload off Storm Spirit, so he can just fake the hit at you. You know, you phase shift it, then he just hits you again anyway and gets the bonus damage. So, I mean, Puck, reasonable. Nice to have a silence against the Storm, and there's definitely the potential for either of them to pick up a kill in the lane when one of them goes to aggressive, and it's going to be Doctor. Well, actually, you know, I'll leave FXO to you. Again, welcome back, guys, to the AMD Dota 2 Premier League. This is Game 2 of Best of 3 set for Round 1. It's Mith.Trust versus FXO, and FXO currently find themselves at a 1-0 lead. Over on the side of Mith.Trust, we're going to have TNK playing the Batrider. It's going to be Abba playing the Puck, making his way towards mid. Lakel's is going to be on the Morphling. We've got SD on the Visage, and R5R5 is on the Rubicon. Again, our biased commentator, Swizzler, will run you over what's going on the FXO side.
Yeah, so Febby's playing as Weaver. He did really well with Weaver in the NSL, so that's not a big surprise. Doctor, the stand-in, he's going to be on the Storm Spirit in the center, mid lane, and then the tri-lane down the bottom lane is going to be March on the Darkseer, with Sagan on the Vengeful Spirit, and Anarchy is going to be playing Crystal Maiden, and yeah, definitely a hero that he usually plays. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see which tri-lane kind of wins out here, but the FXO tri-lane is really strong.
But Myth don't know it's a tri-lane, is the thing.
The
They have
battle
no
begins.
idea that the two supports have cut their way into the trees and are currently hiding here. So, I think that their guess is that the tri-lane is top, seeing the Darkseer here, and March actually kind of gives away the fact that he's here by walking past. A Darkseer tri-lane is unusual, but not completely unheard of, but I mean, FXO, I called these two supports powerhouses, and for good reason. At level 1, they are fantastic gankers, and Lakel's, he's got morph at level 1. So if they just spot his stats here, they might actually
And he
know
doesn't
that
have
he's
wave
got it.
either.
Yeah,
No
he's got no
wave.
wave, he's got no escape. If he gets too far out, it could end up dangerous. March, the creep wave sort of lands in a bit of a dangerous position, and he's actually pushing it in very aggressively. So it looks like the plan right now is to bounce it off the tower and then go. No, they're just going to reveal themselves and go straight in. Lakel starts morphing strength because
They
that's
just
all
don't
he
care.
can do. They don't care because the supports have actually left the lane. They stun him up. The Ion Shell still doing its job. March soaking tower shots. Now going to cycle it over to the supports. Lakel's still morphing strength. Another Crystal Nova in just a second. Just clipping on the edge. Lakel's not a whole lot of strength morph left. But SD is now at the very least made his way down to the lane. He's going to cut off the... Well, he's going to try and cut it off there. But FXO is still closing the gap. Sagan, I don't know if he should have gone for the right click. Might have just been able to move click him to death. Crazy aggression at the start, and Sagan's not done just yet. SD is charging up a Soul Assumption, however, so needs to be a little bit careful. And surprised that R5 lift is actually on cooldown right now. FXO, I feel like they could have gone for the option to bounce it off the tower. And now Sagan is going to be lifted back, might be in some trouble. Will the Soul Assumption be stacked up enough? Yes, it will be. A very drawn out, a very slow, sort of meandering first blood, but it is going to be... I mean, we've got some of the slowest supports in the game, all just kind of wandering their way around and
That was
trying to kill
definitely
it,
the slowest team battle there. It's like 20-30 seconds just walking beside the
Everybody's just like,
strength
yep,
morphing
I'm
morpher.
walking over here, I'm strength morphing. Morphling's not very fast at level 1 either, so that was a humorous start to the game, and nobody got any CS in that stint on this bottom lane whatsoever. Lakel snagged 2 denies before the Benny Hill music started playing. So.
The decision to just push out that first. I don't think it was a good decision because
Yeah,
like you said, Myth had no idea there was a tri lane down there.
Yeah, I feel like the correct decision was either push it really aggressively, bounce it off the tower, and then get Lakel's to push out. The problem with that was that Myth could actually be running a pull, and then it never bounces back off the tower, and the supports kind of end up sitting there awkwardly while the enemy team supports get level 2 and the Morphling grabs level 2, almost level 3. So they go for it, but yeah, the double Ion Shell, it sort of kept up appearances. It was like, look, I'm solo Darkseer, nobody else is here, but it ends up losing them the kill, and they ended up getting first blooded as a result. However, the solo lanes are doing it really well.
Yeah.
And
Perhaps the positioning could have been better.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Maybe they could have looked to have chopped their way out of the trees. I mean, so they were in this path. They could have gone all the way down and then maybe cut their way out over here and jumped the Morphling that way, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was going to point out that the mid lane item start was actually exactly the same for both teams. Both mid laners getting pooled a Null Talisman, and so they could getting pooled extra regions so they could grab a Null Talisman. Doctor is leading lane right now, 17-9. I'm going to put some damage on to Abba as the supports run in. Stuns not chained perfectly, but he's not going to be able to escape anyway.
It matters not to me.
FXO,
One thing we haven't really talked about. One thing we haven't really talked about, Basket, is the complete domination of the top lane by Feb.
Yeah, Febby is doing amazingly on top lane, I have to say, and it looks like TNK has kind of given up, and he's now making his way down towards the jungle to pick up some farm. So
yeah, but there's going to be some aggression there. I mean, the Sagan and Anarchy, they're the buddy duo. They're the police cop buddy duo. They're going to get in the attack,
Yeah.
kill the bad guys. Because I mean, they just picked up smoke as well. There's an invisibility rune that they just pulled up. So yeah, they're not planning on just kind of sitting back and hanging around. They're going to try to go for the kill here.
Under attack.
yeah, and yeah, FXO they've got two in my opinion at least. They've got 2 slow supports, but 2 of the most potent ganking supports in the game. Anarchy ends up picking up a point in Arcane Aura at level 2 instead of going for the bite. So it does need to soak up level 3 before he can do too much more. Sagan, again, very slowly walking his way towards mid. Might be looking for another gank for an app, but he will have to cross a little bit of tower true sight range to be able to get back into the lane. So playing it very cautiously for now. Febby has 3 stacks up, so TNK is going to man up here. The Beetles fly out, the stick charges are there. But Febby does a bit of a loose circle around. The Gemini attack cooling back down. The Beetle might kill off TNK. No, not quite enough. But loses a lot of life there. Meanwhile, on mid, the Abba actually gets the silence out as Sagan runs in. And will be able to pick himself up a kill there. So that's
not sure what that was about.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to use the invis, but it wasn't quite in the right spot. Looks like Doctor opened it up with the drag. I was focused on top lane where Febby is going to go for another dive onto TNK, and just every single time he walks up, driving him completely out of the lane. And Febby is going for a Hand of Midas on his Weaver right now. So that's...
Yeah, interesting decision. I'm
a little bit
not
out of
sure.
the ordinary. Well, I mean, it's going to be
He's
great
got command and gold right now.
Yeah, he is leading this lane, and the experience isn't too bad either. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, both teams still just farming up a little bit. Lakel's doing okay, but the pressure from the Darkseer is hurting him a little bit. And Visage, despite being such a great tri-lane support, they haven't really found anything just yet. And meanwhile, TNK going to be making his way back down into the jungle. So I have to commend Febby on his solo play. Every single time I've seen him playing a 1v1 lane, it's just gone swimmingly for him. I don't know if he's been pulled a little bit by his team to help him out a bit, but I've also seen Febby go for some of, and I don't know if anybody remembers this, but some of the crazy little efficiency maneuvers. He was playing an Alchemist, I think it was, and he went to the side shop and he just kept buying Rings of Health and selling them back and buying them and selling them while the creep wave wasn't around, just to try and gain a little bit of extra HP in between creep waves. So this guy goes to the nth degree just to do whatever he can to improve his efficiency in the game. And yeah, Febby kind of showing it right now. And as I say that, I hope he doesn't miss any last hits. But yeah, looks like he's gonna do fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, balancing, how much gold he's not getting from going back to base for heals versus losing the gold on the buy. I mean, that's really high level. That's like next level stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't call it super high level, but it's definitely next level. Because I've never seen. I mean, I've seen it maybe once or twice, and I've seen people discussing it as like, what can you do to maximize your efficiency, but. I don't think I've ever seen somebody do it in an actual competitive game. So kudos to Febby on that one.
Well, one thing you can do is get a 6-minute and 15-second Hand of Midas.
Yeah, very quick from him. And R5, you're in trouble, my friend. In comes the Doctor. I'm not going to make bad prescription jokes, guys, but he's going to pick up the kill. And FXO with a little bit of a smoke rotation making it to a down. They only get the Rubik, so not really the prize that they were looking for, but still going to tie up the kills. As far as gold is concerned, they're out farming for now, 750 advantage. Oh no, yeah, they're out farming, but they're behind a little bit in terms of experience. Doctor's just going to walk in for a little bit more harassment. TNK is just farming in the jungle. He wants his fast blink dagger. He doesn't want to have to deal with Febby anymore. And Febby taking full advantage of the lane, just continuing to farm up with this Midas. So if you're going to give him free farm, he's going to take it, and how.
Yeah, well, he's going to... Weaver... I don't really feel that Weaver can get into like a really hard carry, like to that level, but at least he's going to definitely do a really excellent job of, being a semi-carry as we get into the mid-game.
Weaver is interestingly a huge pain in the butt for Morphling, because and Morphling, this is something that I guess people don't always appreciate about the hero, but when you're morphing strength, you're actively losing agility, right? So your armor is also dropping significantly at the same time. Doctor's gonna be a gank on him mid, but Abba misses the jaunt to the silence. So it looks like nothing's gonna come of it. They had the Dream Coil as well. That might have, I mean, had they comboed off the silence into the lift and everything else, that might have been a kill, but Abba, I think he's silenced instead of jaunted and misclicked a little bit, so potential kill missed. But back to that thought about the Morphling. So Morphling, when he's trying to escape from you, he's just going to be morphing strength, as much as he can to try and stay alive. But at the same time, he's very quickly losing agi. And if you pick up a Desolator on the Weaver, you can take advantage of the fact that he's lost all of his armor and just right-click him to death. I mean, he's tanky, but he's just a big sack of watery meat, I guess, and he's very easy to beat up when he's morphed all of his agi away. So I'd like to see Febby definitely go for the Deso build this game, just to help punish the Morphling a little bit more there. But anyway, that thought is finally over. Meanwhile, bit of a fight breaking out. Anarchy's in trouble. I think he's dead here. He's gonna do what he can, but Flame Break flies down. He's gonna just bounce march back, and that's gonna be it. But anyway, you were saying, Swizzler? Well, Doctor's coming in. And SD's in some trouble. Roll over the top. Down he goes. March. They're running a little bit low on mana, but Doctor, one last roll. Abyss here. He's got the coil. He's got a silence, but Febby has also joined the fight. He's loaded up with the Ion Shell. Now he's chasing after the puck, who doesn't have the jump anymore. Yeah, now the Shikuchi damage with the Ion Shell. He's not going to be able to survive. Oh, just barely. But no, going to give the kill to March. The Ion Shell finishing that one off. Now waveform forward from Lakel's. Can he finish off March?
Doing here? Not
running
good.
around. Lakel's going to start morphing strength, but the waveform's on cooldown. He's now in a little bit of trouble. Looks like Morph Strength will get him back to safety. SD, Soul Assumption charged up. He's going to get stunned up. Now TNK comes in with the drag. Febby in a little bit of trouble. He's sitting on Strength Treads and sitting on Agi Treads and will be brought down. Sagan now in some trouble. But Febby actually bought back so that he can time. Yeah, he bought back so he could time lapse back to the fight. And now he's looking for the kill onto TNK. He's going to get lifted. He might die again. He will. Very short range waveform there. For Kells, R5, R5. The FXO side has made their way back in. Dream going to be dropped. The fight continues. Silence on two. Anarchy breaks the coil. That's some trouble. One more right click from Abba going to bring him down. Now Doctor, last roll away. Wall dropped. Yeah, teams just keep making their way back in. And Sagan, he's got no mana left for a stun or playing over the top. And I think this will finally be both teams disengaging here. But March wants one last Ion Shell. So at the end of that, as the dust settled, it's 7 for 7. Gold's in favor of the Dire. Experience 2k in favor of the Radiant. And Febby losing quite a bit of that gold. That really hard-won gold, in fact, on the top lane. With the buyback and the subsequent death. But showing that you can buyback and time-lapse straight into a fight as Weaver. However, you arrive at whatever health you were 4 seconds ago. Which fortunately for him was quite a bit, since he got bursted down, but it is a very risky maneuver. Meanwhile, on mid, Abba just going to get jumped here by Doctor and brought down Anarchy with the assist on that one. So sorry about missing that kill, guys. But yeah, now FXO, I think that's going to push the gold lead out further, but Experience actually bouncing it back a bit. Only 1k in favor of the Radiant. But you called it longest team fight ever, Swizzler. I think it might have been. Well, not really. Yeah. Very prolonged team fight there.
Because I mean, each team they don't want to give up on the fight, and especially with how mobile most of the heroes in this lineup is. You know, you got Storm Spirit, you got the Weaver and the Darkseer, and there's so much movement. You know, so you can get back into the fight very quickly, and so it's always kind of a balance between how many of your buddies are there versus how many of the other team, and you know how much health you have. Can you guys take it? And it's kind of like this is where the practice, and the experience really comes in. You have to know when you should all go and when you should all fight, because if one of you leaves and the other one stays, that's where you fall apart.
Smoke on smoke gets revealed. Sagan, the first one to be dragged. The coil drops and everybody. The Doctor is in some trouble. Beautiful familiar stuns as well. Keep him locked in place. He rolls over the top. He's going to keep on rolling. He's okay. He's bottling for now, but R5 stealing the roll. Wants the kill. Not quite enough mana for him. But it's going to be the two FXO supports dying there. Both teams were smoked up, making their way towards the top lane. And to add a little bit to that thought about that last team fight, I mean, it's exactly right. This is where the practice comes into play. Where, in a chaotic situation in a team fight, you have to make some last minute, you have to make some split-second decisions as to whether or not you disengage and take the losses and accept them there, or think, okay, we've still got an opportunity. We're going to keep on fighting, and we're going to see what we can do. So FXO, it doesn't end up too bad. Both teams deciding to just stay committed to the fight until the bitter end. And yeah, FXO, I guess it worked out okay for both sides. But Febby with losing his life again after the buyback will slow him down a bit. Though he is still the lead farmer. Not as far ahead as you would expect of the Morphling. He's going to get jumped on bottom lane. He gets the replicate. He's just going to be TPing out right now. No more chain stun. Sagan probably could have gone for the swap cancel there. Slightly longer range than the stun, so I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't try and cancel the TP. They want to kill off the replicate so that he can't just come back to the lane after healing back at base. But Lakellas wants to jump anyway. He comes in, and now SD makes his way in from the side. Anarchy in some trouble, brought down by the Soul Assumption. Going after the replicate, not the right move. Dust going to be popped off. Meanwhile, Weaver in the back of the fight gets brought down. March in trouble. They break the coil. Both heroes from FXO. Now the waveform. More kills. Doctor rolls in, but he's immediately grabbed. He got down the Visage. He's rolling away, and looks like he will be okay. Doctor at least makes something out of the trip to bottom lane. and looks like he will be able to escape. So I thought he might die there after the drag, but does manage to escape, and some more progress towards his Orchid right now. But a disastrous couple of minutes for FXO. They lose 4, only in exchange for 1, and they're going to lose a tower here as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Febby losing that gold from his buyback.
And R5, he's still got the rolls. He's going to roll forward onto March. He's going to surge himself back. They're still alive. Bounce back on Anarchy, both teams fully engaging. There's the swap back onto the Batrider, but he's just going to blink straight over the top. Nobody hit him with any damage. Anarchy had the bite. Nova was on cooldown. They're going to look towards the replicate right now. A long roll down from Doctor. He wants to drag. He's going to go on SD. There are some blue stuns available, so they keep Doctor locked in place. Long turnaround with that one, and now Lakel's waveforming over the top brings down the support. Anarchy walks in from the side as well. There's the bite. March going to drop the wall just for some damage. Meanwhile, fight continues as they will be able to bring down the Rubik. And now Lakel's in some trouble, waveforming across over the top. Anarchy, will the flame break be enough? It will. Catches him on long range. TNK in some trouble. Drag back. Doctor still with the mana. Rolls over the top. Dodges the soul assumption damage there. Wants one more roll into TNK. He just wants the auto attack, but he's burning to death from the Firefly. So we'll have to run off to the side now. Lakel's, he doesn't have treads. He can't tread swap for a little bit more mana, but he wants one more kill. Can he get it? He gets lifted back, and that is going to be a dominating streak for Lakel's, rejoining the fight. Febby just forced to run away there. FXO.
Febby did catch the kill on the edge there, though, while
nice.
his buddy was running.
So Febby managed to finish off the Batrider.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing about the lineup here that, you know, is you can, with Febby and with Doctor, with the Storm Spirit and the Weaver, you can push so far. Like
oh, Febby, no! He gets jumped on mid, just farming pretty aggressively there, and just gets silenced up. Down he goes. So that's going to be the Blink Dagger finish for Abba, and a big pickup. But yeah, you're 100% right. It makes more sense that Mith.Trust are just head-on engaging into these fights, because if you try and escape, you're trying to escape against a Darkseer Weaver, a Storm Spirit, and a Vengeful Spirit, all of whom can either close the gap very quickly or bring you back to them. So Mith.Trust, if they try and escape, it's only going to end up badly, and there's the cancel on the lasso. TNK might be in some trouble. The Familiar's going to make some space. They throw down the Freezing Field. They bring him down. Big roll over the top from Doctor. Now looking towards SD. Drags him back. Vacuum as well. They bring down 2, and they've got the mech to top everybody back off after that fight. Familiar's going to be dropped, and Visage can't actually resummon, so he might lose 1 or 2 here. We'll see. FXO just waiting, and yeah, that's gonna be 1 and
that's
2.
Some nice free gold.
Yeah, Creeps got the last hit on the second one, so nobody grabbed that, but nice for them. And FXO, that's exactly what they're looking for with these swap cancels from Sagan. So nicely done by him.
Yeah, they've got to really push up the aggression. I mean, okay, so it's been really quite aggressive up to now, but I mean, FXO, they have to keep the pressure on, because if they let that Morphling, you know, continue to get good farm and to really get up there. Like right now, he's standing at the top of net worth with, you know, 8,200 gold. And if they let him get strong enough, he's just going to completely dominate this game.
Yeah, and Lakel's, he's renowned for his Morphling, and you can kind of see why. He's looking for some pickups right now onto March. He's got a lot of right-click damage, morphed everything up right now. Febby comes in. Here's the right-click, the Iron Shell doing work as well, just threatening the Strength Morph toggle, and will now wait from his way away. Nice Familiar drops, going to buy a little bit of space, but Sagan, Stun's only going to pop the Lincoln Sphere there. Febby needs to be careful. And looks like he will end up backing out. Abba jumps in, looks towards Sagan, the Drinko is going to pick him up, and now he just jaunts backwards, roll in from R5, This guy seems to have that every single time. Anarchy in some trouble. Lakel is going to right-click him down. Abba on the low ground, and Mith.Trust out of nowhere, pick up 3 kills. Pick up 3 kills back to back. We've got the Orchid finished up for Doctor, but Myth now leading by 6 kills. Gold is pretty much even. They're going to bounce back in the Radiant's favor and experience 3k on their side. No fortification. I think FXO just about to lose. They're just about to lose the tower as well. So the positioning for them, I mean, it's been very back and forth. The positioning hasn't quite worked out. Febby tries to deny and time-lapse back, but not quite going to get it there. Just working his way towards the Lincoln Sphere right now, and definitely the right pickup against the Batrider. But
yeah, he was kind of pushed back by you know, his recent deaths, and you know, his farm is kind of, I mean, it's good, it's really good, but that Morphling is just he
6
just
for
keeps
0 for
pulling
6.
ahead.
Yeah, 6 for 0 for 6. Not a single death. Very evasive, and
Very dangerous.
Yeah,
Very dangerous. That
extremely
Morphling.
dangerous. And now Lakel's
I'm-
can push it even more to the limit with the Lincoln Sphere finished. He can, you know, wave in aggressively. Always has the replicate to be able to escape, and Lakel's very consistently has the replicate up. Looks like Doctor actually ends up jumping the replicate on the top lane. Lakel's pops in to say hi. Right as that happens, he wants a little bit of farm here as well. So the Doctor gets a bit of a rude awakening. He wanted to use the Orchid to pick up an easy kill now that it's just finished. Again, talking about that element of surprise, but not going to end up happening.
But I don't think, even with it up, I don't think solo kill against the Morphling is happening.
Yeah, he was trying to solo kill who he thought was somebody else, but yeah, gets tricked. It's just an illusion. FXO, again, they don't really have that much late game aside from the Weaver. Mith.Trust haven't really diversified their lineup much as far as carries are concerned either. It's pretty much Morphling versus the Weaver for the late game, with Lockdown being provided by the Storm Spirit and the Puck, and then, you know, Teamfight and Disable respectively for the Darkseer, and for the Batrider. So neither team has a clear advantage as far as the late game is concerned, and I think both of them are just going to keep going for the pickoff style, look to turn a pickoff into a tower, secure themselves a little bit more gold, because that's really the only thing that's guaranteed right now. Taking the game in your own hands and you know, trying to win it, and not letting the enemy team farm up too much. If you go ganking and you don't find anybody and you let them farm, then you might lose that way. But you end up in a really weird game theory situation where it's really difficult for either team to decide what the right move is. Right now, FXO, they're going to leave Febby to farm up on top lane to finish up his Lincolns and send 4 down towards bot, as Myth are going to push in with 5.
Yeah, Myth is coming in here, and
Did they pop anything on Lakel's? No, the Lincoln Sphere just used. Doctor in some trouble. He's going to be bursted down as he jumps into the fight. Now the Dream Call onto Sagan. Visage is disconnected. Anarchy's going to throw down a freezing field, and Lakel's after the fight is going to pause. SD, has he used anything here? Soul Assumption, he did manage to get a Soul Assumption off in the fight, so fresh disconnection.
Oh man, yeah, and the calls he's getting his shotgun out. That's gonna be dangerous.
And the supports on FXO are already kind of fodder for him, and it only gets easier with the shotgun. They roamed really aggressively early, but have now fallen off quite a bit, and 7 deaths to their name each. And Morphling has 7 kills and 7 assists. I'm not saying there's any correlation, but yeah, the FXO supports, they fell behind a little bit, and now they just can't stand up to the Morphling and the Batrider jumping in so aggressively, and the Soul Assumption damage as well is just wiping them out. I mean, Crystal Maiden, we can't tell how much HP she has, but it's not that much with only a single gauntlet and an Iron Branch's stats, and Vengeful Spirit not doing too much better. Magic Wand completed and a Belt of Strength, but would also be pretty low right now. And meanwhile, there's a level 15 Morphling roaming around, so that's pretty much just straightforward kills. We'll see what FXO can do about this Morphling back behind the tower. He doesn't have a replicate up right now, waveform only a couple of seconds away. Mech already used. I don't know if anybody is going to die here, especially since Myth still have heroes all the way back here. And I don't know who TNK used the drag on. I suspect that it was Doctor, right as he rolled in. Okay, it looks like we're ready to go now. So Lakel's, what's the game plan for him? Just going to keep chasing forward onto Mark. They're going to turn around. They get some wall damage going, so he's going to start morphing strength. Again, going to be difficult to bring anybody down. He could pop his Ghost Scepter. There we go. Evading the tower shots. Febby and March walk in. But looks like that's going to be it for that fight. Mith.Trust, they were the ones initiated upon, but they end up taking it 3 for nothing, and it's going to be a tower for them as well, I would suspect. They've got, FXO have fortification up, but 20 seconds away from the Storm Spirit. I think that's going to be it. That's going to be it for this tower.
Yeah, that wall is going to be really crucial. Like, a good wall placement is going to be really crucial for taking a fight for FXO, because, you know, especially against the Morphling. Oh, he got it!
He got it, and he time-lapsed back. That was a huge play. Really nicely done.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the slow projectile speed.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place for Weaver. And FXO, they want something else here. TNK is going to be spotted peeking out in the trees. Well, not really, and Sagan's only level 8, so he doesn't have that long distance swap to be able to cancel anything right now. But Myth leading by 9 kills, 4.5k gold, 7.5k experience. in control of a pretty comfortable lead in FXO. This seems to be their game plan almost every single game. Have some way to get Roshan, and even if you don't have some way to get Roshan, just go for Roshan. It's a great advantage that you can secure for yourselves. And Myth, they're coming in to try and defend, but
it's gonna be dangerous.
Abba's all the way on the other side of the map, and they're gonna jump out R5, R5. Now in trouble, gonna be bursted down. SD as well. And now R5, R5 will also drop down the supports, bursted to death. Lakel's just trying to deal with the bug, but the bigger bug is coming as well, and Lakel's just gonna be forced to pop the Ghost Scepter. Febby
I've
keeps
seen
on
this
chasing.
before. I've seen this before.
Yeah, this is a reminder of the bottom lane. Lakel's just gonna keep on running. He's gonna TP his way back to safety. They brought down the Darkseer in the meanwhile. Abba did manage to join that fight. TNK still has the lasso available as well. Febby's gonna keep on chasing. Can he get anything here? Blink Dagger out from the bat. And Abba has his blink back off cooldown as well. So I think that's gonna end up being it. FXO kind of low on life, so I don't know if they can necessarily secure Roshan here. He is down on half HP, however, so it looks like they might end up going for it. Mith.Trust still in control of this tier 1 on mid. They're going to be making their way out as quickly as they can back to the fight. It's the supports leading the charge again. Everybody making their way in. FXO, is this Venture Spirit Aura enough to bring it down? They bite up, which they will drop it. And I mean, not a lineup that would typically take Roshan very quickly, but works out fantastically. Anarchy walks straight into Abba there. Brought down. Doctor's going to roll over the top, but he's low on mana. Using the dregs of it there, and now he's going to get dragged back. TNK gets the lasso, lifted up into the air. Doctor will be back soon with a full mana pool, but FXO distinctly on the back foot for this fight. March going to get bursted down. Had the wall available, but not quite able to use it. Doctor on their trait. Sagan gonna walk in to the grinder. Down he goes. Febby looking for kills, but Rubik has roll, so he's just running away. Meanwhile, Doctor also rolling away. They do bring down SD. Febby picking up that kill, still being very annoying in this fight. And Lakel's, that's the wrong morph. He now hits the strength morph button and will be able to waveform back out. Tense moments for him, and Febby still wants more kills. R5, R5 playing games with the ball lightning, and TNK back over the top. Just everybody needs to be careful. Doctor comes back in, chasing in very far. Loses. He already lost the Aegis. Loses his life. And now FXO. Things starting to look a little bit worse for them as we move forward. It's still only, well, it's an 11 kill lead now. But they got the Roshan. It didn't end up mattering too much. Myth just come in and take the fight. And FXO not having their supports in these fights has been a really big deal. I mean, Mith.Trust, when they got their supports bursted down first at the Roshan pit, the fight went okay for FXO, but still overall even. And FXO just keep losing their supports right at the very start. And that's really hurting their prospects in these fights. They at least need the stuns, and Freezing Field at the very least baits out a stun from Myth, which is kind of what they need to do. They need to keep the focus away from, especially for March. He's a super high priority target for Myth. He's going to get dragged because if he doesn't drop a wall, if he doesn't drop a vacuum, and he doesn't drop the mech, then that's pretty much a teamfight won for Myth. So FXO really needs to, the supports need to do their best to not die at the start of the fights. And also, the Vengeful Spirit needs to use the drag, and it needs to break the drag pretty much every time. So, and things only get harder with a Morphling shotgun.
Bit interesting, Marsh didn't decide to take a second level of wall for some reason.
He's only just investing points into it. No, actually, no, he's not. Because he had wall much earlier on the bottom lane. He was using it for the 150 damage nuke. So yeah, I don't know. Second point not invested just yet. I think focusing on finishing up the vacuum it would have been. He probably had that second point in the surge for a while. I think he was just foregoing vac and now wants it maxed out. But Mith.Trust making all the moves to try and close this game out. They've got the shotgun finished on Morphling. They've got a gem up on the Batrider, and Batrider can pop the Lincolns with his Force Staff if he wants to drag Febby. So Febby isn't really guaranteed any kind of safety here. And despite the amazing start that he had in terms of farm, has now dropped off a little bit. He's got himself a Mithril Hammer, so he's working his way towards that. He's working his way towards that Deso, I would think, or perhaps just a BKB, given how much he's been focusing in these fights. This is kind of awkward for FXO because they're smoked, but looks like we're ready to go before 2 minutes have elapsed. So nothing.
Yeah, that turnaround over at the Roshan, that could have been, you know, that was where FXO really had the chance to kind of really get back in the game and almost, you know, get on top of things, you know. But unfortunately, you know, Anarchy just kind of walking out there by himself, and you know, he got vaporized, and then from there it was kind of downhill.
Yeah, and Anarchy just, there's no tier 1 up mid, so it's not actually safe. I mean, it feels like your side of the map, it feels like your side of the river, and you've just taken Roshan. But Mith.Trust were already kind of lurking there, and yeah, gets killed off. So I mean, this is very awkward right now. I feel like, oh, March, you poor soul. I think he's on the very edge of vision right now. For Mith.Trust, taking the less safe path up the river, and I think he's just gonna get jumped here by Bat. No, doesn't end up being spotted. He's still down on the low ground. I think Mith suspected it's a bait. They're gonna vacuum everybody back into the wall.
Nice
They get
wall.
the overcharge hit
Nice
as
wall.
well. SD gonna be bursted down. They bring down the 2 supports. This is the fight that FXO were looking for. Lakel's gonna keep on fighting, waveforming over the top, but now Anarchy able to drop the Feasing Field, eats up the focus fire. Lakel's, however, will not be brought down. Finishes off the Crystal Maiden. Still keeps on fighting. Meanwhile, on the back lines of play, unstoppable streak for Abba as he's able to bring down the Storm Spirit March. They keep on chasing after Lakel's, but it's only Sagan here. Fabi gonna try and bail him out. Just shepherding away the Weaver, shepherding away the Morphling right now, but Abba still waiting here. I think he wants another pickup on Sagan, but gonna give it up since March and Fabi are both here. Nice team fight for FXO. Definitely the ones initiating that. They got rid of the supports right at the very start, and they also managed to bring down the Batrider, dying a little bit further out. And no, Lakel's is back. He's got the shotgun, and down goes the Vengeful Spirit. Now they're on to March. He's gonna pop the mech, but I think he might just try to right click here since Abba has already jaunted over the top of the trees. Fabi gonna throw out the swarm and do his best to fight, but beyond godlike double kill for Lakel's. This guy is absolutely everywhere, and still not a single death to his name. 11 for 0 for 9, and Lakel is showing off exactly
Morphling,
why
he's really taking the game now.
Why he's
really
renowned
taken
for the
over.
Morphling. I think that's the point. But FXO, it's not necessarily over just yet. Oh, Hex on the puck might just be the nail in the coffin. Meanwhile, Storm Spirit is going to get the jump out onto R5 on mid, and will be able to roll away with his life. So nice little pickup there for Doctor. Getting a little bit of extra gold and working his way towards that BKB. Gold, only 2.5k, about 3k in favor of Mith.Trust, though experience is still sitting pretty comfortably around the 8k mark. And a lot of that, I think, is just on the Morphling and the puck, who have both had great games. I have to say, 8 for 3 for 11 on the puck, and Morphling as well, as we saw, 11 for 0 for 9. FXO still with some opportunities. They need to pick up a little bit more farm on Dark Series, working his way towards a Hex, but he's only just purchased the Ultimate Orb. And FXO right now, admittedly, it does look like we might be heading to a third game. They're going to jump March on mid. He's going to get swapped back by Sagan, but he just ends up in a bad position. Now dragged back, and that is going to be it for him. Tier 2 tower under siege from the Kells. 3k gold in the bank. And yeah, FXO just getting kind of picked to pieces, falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, it's just too dangerous, that Morphling, you know. He's got so much range and instant. Basically, anyone who he targets with his shotgun basically instantly dies. You know, it's not much you can do against that, especially when he's this far ahead. And then, you know, there's the Weaver versus the Morphling, and that's not gonna be good for the Weaver.
So Mith.Trust, they're gonna make their way up out of the high ground, and they keep on jumping. They jump forward, they hex up Doctor, they bounce him back, they shotgun him down. Buyback from the Storm, but that means no BKB for him, but he has to go. He has to fight. He jumps on top of Abby. He wants the kill, but he immediately gets lifted. Will the Orchid damage be enough to finish up the bucket? Will they vacuum back into the wall? Here's the Wombo combo that they needed. Lakel's is still alive. He's morphing strength on the backside. They swap SD back into the fight. They lost Doctor again. Anarchy just going to throw down the freezing field. Going to die to an urn charge. I would think no. Mech popped off. Still alive. They stun Lakel's. Can they finally bring the Morphling down? They've got the Desolator. And
oh my god!
The right click
that was
from
a
Febby.
1,000 gold kill.
Yeah, that was enormous. 971. And Lakel's deciding that he's not done. He's going to buy back to go and snag a little bit more farm, but I think maybe just frustrated at the perfect record being broken there. So FXO, it was looking like
Leak.
They were done, but
Leak.
buyback from the Storm Spirit, huge roll in, vacuum wall from March. I think lurking made his way in, from the back. And yeah, great fight from FXO, and they needed that 100%. Showing that they still got some kick in them.
Yeah.
And Febby, he's now got 2.8k gold in the bank.
And the Dezo.
Yeah,
He's also got the Dezo you were talking about. And you know, once the strike started getting up there, you know, he was dropping down to like, you know, 10 armor, 5 armor, and just dropped. Finally dropped.
Swizzler with the biased commentary. Mith.Trust, they've still got a really good opportunity here. Roshan's about to respawn in a couple of minutes. It feels like Roshan should already be back up, but the game has been so action-packed that
Well, look how many kills are on the board.
Yeah, this has been a very kill-heavy game. Anarchy deciding that he just needs to tank up. Bracer and a Vitality Booster now up for him. Sagan, he's got himself some Power Treads and a Cloak. So the big problem for FXO was the supports were not living to see even, you know, the first third of the team fights. But now things looking a lot better. And did FXO get their hands on the gem there as well? I think they might have, but they might have just taken it back to base. Yeah, it's just on the courier right now. So, yeah. Mith.Trust, it's time to sit back and just think about, okay, what went wrong there. They're still in control of the, I still think they're in the driving, you know, they're still in the driving seat as far as this game is concerned. But as FXO just showed, they're not done just yet.
Well, Bazkid, one thing that needs to be said, Febby, he's got his demon edge on him, and, you know, that always, it leaves open the option that he can just go, you know, Divine Raper and just put all of the cards on the table, you know?
Yeah, I think it could be an option for Febby, depending on how the next couple of minutes go, depending on how this next push for Mith.Trust works out. But Mith.Trust, I think they're sitting on the edge of their seats right now, because if this next push gets repelled, then that bodes terribly. And there is actually something at stake here. Mith.Trust, it looks like, you know, they're not really risking too much. It's probably going to be a tier 2 tower taken down by Febby here if they commit to the push. And they're going to head up onto the high ground. What have they got so far? It's going to be a buyback from Mark. They got the drag back onto Doctor. They bursted down too. Febby joins the fight, but Mith.Trust with the sudden initiation. SD, wall, vacuum drops down. March still okay, but he's just microing the illusions to make sure that they keep on fighting. They bring down 2. Febby with the mega kill just keeps on right-clicking. Lakel is going to be brought down. Double kill for Sagan. And FXO, despite being the ones initiated upon, will buy back on the Darkseer and take the fight. So, unfortunately for Doctor, he will end up dropping again, but I was about to say that there were some stakes because Roshan is just about to respawn as well, and Mith.Trust, the buyback from Lakel's might actually end up costing them now, since he doesn't actually have it available. Well, Puck doesn't have buyback available either, but FXO should be able to get into the Roshan pit pretty quickly, and 2 team fights back-to-back going well.
Yeah, they should kill Roshan right now.
Yeah, they should. I think
there's no reason.
There's nothing else that they can really secure. They can try and push the mid-tier 2 a little bit, but apart from that, Roshan is really the next big objective. Marsh going to be making his way up. Anarchy just freezing field for a little bit of farm down in the jungle there. And Febby, what's he got? 3.5k. So no, it's just gonna be a Buriza.
That just says a lot about how Anarchy's feeling right now. About just getting, you know, vaporized every.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah. I don't think that I'm actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna think. I don't think that I'm actually going to be able to use freezing field in the team fight. So I'm just gonna use it for some creeps. Meanwhile, on top lane, Doctor gets the drag back onto TNK, keeps on zipping over the top, and will be able to finish him off with the Orchid damage. So, Doctor, I would like to remind everybody that he died, bought back, died, and then died again at the beginning of this last team fight. But he has his BKB now finished from all that farm. Batter just going to buy back, and Mith.Trust looks like they will be able to defend Roshan. FXO instead looking for pickoffs. I feel like there was an opportunity to get Roshan there, but
they should have killed Roshan. I mean, Febby could have killed Roshan by himself, you know, with his Dezo and Bug stack. That was a missed opportunity. I mean, that's all it is. You know, like a really big missed opportunity.
Yeah. So we've got, well, Bugs don't actually stick, but yeah, Mith.Trust, they are smoked up. Oh. Yeah. No, they don't stick.
Minus 2 gold stars.
Swizzler losing points left, right, and center, but. Mith.Trust, they've smoked up, they're heading out, they're looking for a pickoff. FXO, same story, making their trip out of the base, and they're going to smoke up as well. Both teams making their way around the Roshan pit. He's definitely the next big target right now. And yeah, FXO just getting the vision out. They do have good counter initiation against the Batrider, so TNK can't feel too secure. He's working his way towards what looks like a lead sphere right now. They're going to jump in over the top. Doctor gets a drag back onto TNK, and they burst him down. He's silenced up. Here comes the wall. SD in trouble as well. Bursted down. Lakel's waveforms over the top, and he's the focus right now. Will he be able to escape? He hasn't popped the shotgun. He's morphing strength, but he's just getting right-clicked to death by Febby. The crits doing their job. Anarchy going to pop the freezing field. They're going to swap him back. They get the bite. Lakel goes down. FXO 4-0 in the fight. And they can just turn this straight into a push. Screw Roshan. They're going mid lane. Nobody has a single buyback available, so Morphling on the deck for 70 seconds. There is a tier 2 down on top. Tier 2 still up on bottom lane, so FXO can't necessarily get rolling kickoffs into Mega Creeps right now. But with the Desolator, they make it very quick work.
If you could just see right now, Anarchy's. There's got to be like a little unhappy face on the back
Radiant
of
structures
Crystal
are
Maiden's cloak there because, you know, he just... Oh, he wants to use his...
He wants to use the freezing field so
much.
badly, but yeah. Jump in silence, ABBA. Familiar stuns dropped as well. They're buying some space. Febby gonna get bursted here. Down he goes. They got the Rex, but they have to get out without too many casualties. They hexed up the Vengeful Spirit. And Doctor able to TP out. Anarchy, however, I think not going to be quite so lucky. Should really be shopping for whatever he can at this point before he loses the gold. But down he goes, and now looks like Mith.Trust might be able to get something on the swing back. They're going to, well, it's actually going to be Doctor pinging out Roshan. Mith.Trust, unfortunately for them, are pushing down Rax creeps on the mid lane. So it's a little bit more difficult for them to get in here. Fortification available for the FXO side. Buyback from the Weaver is going to throw it because Mith.Trust, they don't want to push. They're just heading into the pit. And can FXO hold this? Everyone buys back. Mith.Trust, what's the call?
The call is get
just
back.
I mean, if they stall around Roshan too long, then mid lane is naturally going to push in. And FXO will be able to take Roshan more or less for free. So that those buybacks might have actually secured it for them. No. Mith.Trust, they're going to smoke, and they're going to go around. FXO, they pulled this move in game 1. Let's see if they fall for it this time around. Looks like everybody's just making their way down.
The Roshan trap.
Yeah, they're dewarding for now. They've got the familiars scouting out. FXO, everybody's in the pit. Lincoln's from Roshan popped off. He's dropping very quickly. Marge is leading the charge. He's going to get lifted up. Will he be brought down? He's still got the mech. He gets swapped out. He does get hit by the stun, however, from the Dream Coil. Doctor rolls in big. TNK in some trouble. Almost bursted down from the Orca damage. They bring down 2 in exchange for 1 Sagan. In some trouble. R5, R5. Still rolling over the top. Febby gets Silence. Going to keep on fighting through ABBA. He knows that he doesn't have much left. 90 seconds. No buyback. Doctor in trouble. This is looking like the turnaround for Mith.Trust. And just the initiation from Myth gets them that fight. March didn't manage to use a thing. He didn't vacuum, he didn't mech. And I think he just, after the swap, he got hit by the Dream Coil stun, and that was kind of it. What can Doctor do? Oh, misses up the shift too. So the game plan for him was to hope that Roshan didn't drop quickly enough so that he could TP to this, TP right here, because you can TP outside the base onto this building, smoke up, run towards Roshan, and then try and swipe the Aegis for some big plays, because FXO, I mean, now with the Aegis up on Mith.Trust, things start to look a little bit more bleak. There are still upper racks, of course, but we've got the golden experience pogoing around everywhere. But a very exciting
you
game.
can see massive mistakes, massive positioning mistakes. I'm disgusted at what just happened beside the Roshan pit there, because it was the same exact maneuver that FXO used against Myth just a little while ago.
Yeah, so kind of getting caught out a little bit there. I think they were hoping to bring down Roshan in time, but yeah, losing March. You could see the game plan. So the game plan was clearly there. They were like, okay, March, we think they're smoking around. So if they jump you, we're going to swap you back and you can drop your combo. Unfortunately, he takes a little bit too much burst damage before the swap happens, and he ends up dropping. And I think that's the deciding factor in that team fight, 100%. Whether or not March survives to get the mech off in his team, survives to drop the wall, vacuum everybody. And especially in the confined spaces around the Roshan pit, the chaos that ensues from dropping the wall means that Febby can get a lot of damage out. And Febby doesn't have a BKB just yet, so he needs that. He needs the chaotic fight with the Storm Spirit zipping so that he can sit back and just right-click somebody to death. And the Kel's kind of thriving in there as well. So they got the Aegis. It's difficult for FXO. Game could still end either way. No buybacks available for anybody that's really all that important. Net worth for Febby. He's still the lead farmer on the map. Desperately needs that BKB, but we'll see if Mith.Trust are going to give him enough time to farm it. What are they working towards right now? TNK, I don't think he's ever going to finish that Lincoln's or Hex or Yule's, whatever it's going to be. SD does have an Aghanims finished up. ABBA just holding onto the gem, and a freshly purchased 10-second BKB for him will be a very big deal as far as jumping on top of the Darks here. And March maybe regretting the decision a little bit not to pick up a BKB. He could have one. He's got his Hex now finished, but again, he has to know that he is the most important target for Mith.Trust. As we saw, if he dies, they lose the fight. So maybe this is one of those times where you say, dang, I really wish I bought a BKB. Doctor is still initiating well, and he's still got 8 seconds left on his, but not to the same extent. So Mith.Trust, they're going to come in for the racks on bottom lane. Fortification's still up for the FXO side. They've got mid lane pushing out well. They are going to be able to grab the range barracks there. for absolutely
Dire's
nothing.
structures are fortified.
Fortification pops off right to the tower. It's low HP. It's Febby versus Lakel, trying to deny the tower, but they get dragged back onto Febby. He's into trouble. He's going to be bursting down. They swap him back, but he still ends up dropping too aggressive, trying to deny. And as Sagan into trouble, they drop the vacuum, they drop the wall. Doctor still fighting in this fight, looking towards TNK. That's his focus. Anarchy, meanwhile, into trouble. Lakel is morphing Agi, and he might end up dying into the freezing field. No, he's now morphing Strength. He's going to keep on fighting. He's in the back lines of the fight. Keeps on just right-clicking people to death. Gonna wave form forward onto Doctor. Turns around for one more. Lakel does still have that Aegis up. And he's just gonna end up replicating his way back to the secret shop. And FXO, this is looking like it might just be it. But if Mith.Trust only take one Rax, then they're not that far behind. And Lakel's deciding that he wants mid-Rax. Instead, gonna start working away at that tier 3, just incrementally morphing a little bit of strength here and there. And now straight onto it, March comes in, but he gets hit by the familiar chain drop, silenced up as well. Will he be brought down? Looks like he will. He's got the mech surviving for a little bit longer, able to surge away with the Soul Assumption, and the Morphling nuke will finish him off. Really couldn't afford to die there. Ends up going down. It's going to be 2 Raxes for sure. For Mith.Trust. FXO is still waiting around for respawns. They can't take Mega Creeps because there's still a tier 2 tower on the top lane. So FXO down, but perhaps not out. But Mith.Trust with a very convincing team fight. And that's even without the Aegis being used on the Morphling. So FXO couldn't kill him once. I don't know if they can hope to kill him twice. Anarchy's gonna jump in. He wanted to kill on Abba, but he's still alive. 13 HP. The creep's gonna finish him off there. Sagan will be focused down. Gem gonna hit the deck. Someone has to grab onto that one. But Mith.Trust now looking a little bit lost since they can't take the last set of Rax and can't really look to take the tier 4s. So the game will continue, guys. It's not
for how
over
long?
just yet. Exactly for how long is the question, because Lakel has 5k gold, can start working his way towards the Scotty. There'll be an even bigger threat there, and gold, it's still not that much in it. It's only 5k the difference. 5.5k experience. Still really anybody's team fights, and things like the Aegis, the most significant advantage, which is just about to fade. So FXO maybe with one last opportunity coming up soon. We'll see. Does Febby have that BKB? That's going to be a huge pickup for him, and we'll see if he'll get enough time to farm it.
Yeah, and Baskip, just watching that fight when it all came down to the bottom racks there, you know, it didn't really go very well, but March did manage to get a decent wall down because he managed to catch the Morphling in the wall, and I don't know if you saw it, but his illusion was almost killed like 2 or 3 supports, but he wasn't able to micro it. He just maybe he didn't notice that he caught the Morphling on the edge of his wall, but if he microed that, he would have been able to kill 2 or 3 of the supports right there just with the illusion of the Morphling. So you know, it's gonna come. You know, it's definitely Febby, right? Febby's extremely important in this situation, but also the wall from March. If it's positioned correctly, that could be the whole, you know, like you said, wombo combo. I mean, Darkseer by himself, especially against an AG Morphling, just that by itself can just swing the entire fight.
Yeah, so FXO, one last defense for them. Mith.Trust gonna knock down a tier 2. They're playing this one safe. They look towards Febby. He doesn't quite have his BKB finished just yet. I really want to see him sell his Hand of Midas and just buy the BKB. Like, I mean, what's he need? He needs 2.9 Midas cells for half, so 850. It might be enough. He's gonna get dragged back here. He gets swapped back by Sagan, so he's still alive this time around. They drop the wall. Sagan's dead. Sagan's dead right now, but Lakel's might be in a little bit of trouble. He pops up everything he gets. Sheeped up. March wants this kill so badly, but he's gonna be able to replicate his way back out. Meanwhile, Mith.Trust are low. Doctor rolling over the top. R5 in some trouble. TNK on a headlong retreat, but FXO so difficult to escape from. Abba low. Flame break drop will burn out as well to try and make some space. 1-for-1 on supports ends up being the trade. Febby, he's ion shelled up. He wants these kills. Boots of Travel to purchase for the Morphling. He's just considering maybe trying to make his way back out. SD, only a couple of right clicks to kill him. Does have a Ghost Scepter. Flame break flying out, and Lakel rejoins the fight. This is where it gets dangerous. His TNK have a drag. He doesn't. Will the shotgun finish off Febby? It will, and that could. No, he's got buyback. Oh my sweet lord! This game is going to keep on going. And I think Mith.Trust maybe are they breathing a sigh of relief? Do they think that Weaver doesn't have the buyback? He's not going to have BKB, but he does have buyback.
I think they I don't think they need to breathe anything because I mean they still have the advantage, you know.
I think they're just like, My god, can we not kill this bug? So Febby makes his way back in. Again, still no BKB just yet. But, oh, Lakel's! Is he going to be able to burst it down here? No, he's able to escape. Doctor now being right-clicked to death. He's hexed up, but he's still alive. Pops the BKB, able to roll his way back out, and TNK is actually the one to be focused and brought down. He's going to buy back, and he's going to have to make a bit of a trek back towards this fight. So it looks like both teams going to reload. Lakel's, in fact, does have buyback. So
the creeps are coming down, and they're knocking down the tier 3 tower right now.
Yeah, the tier 4 tower's under siege, so March going to do his best. Yeah, he's going to do his best. So just to get those away right now, but this, I mean, okay, there's 2 relevant buybacks available. They're both inside of Mith.Trust. They are definitely in possession of the lead right now. By how much is exactly the question. Roshan's only a minute and a half away. FXO, they're down they're down an additional lane of racks compared to Mith.Trust. So let's see if they're going to end up knowing that Roshan is just about to respawn, because if Myth don't take this fight bottom lane, then they might just be able to secure that Aegis advantage again. And 3 lives on the Morphling is not something that they want to have to deal with. 1 minute to Roshan, they're smoked up. Yeah.
If Febby can just get his BKB up, if he can finally get that BKB up, it's gonna be.
Personally,
10-second BKB.
I say sell the goddamn Midas. Is what I say right
get
now.
Rid of the Midas.
He doesn't have buyback anymore. Like if he'd sold the Midas before that fight on top, and then he bought the BKB, then maybe he wouldn't have buyback, and we wouldn't still be here in the game. But he has to know that he can just sell the Midas. It's a good damage item. Attack speed is great on Weaver, but BKB is even more important, and it looks like Mith.Trust are just going to be able to force his hand. He only needs to farm a couple hundred more gold, and his team is very wisely just letting him clear the waves. I mean, at this point, there is the temptation for everybody just to get the lanes pushed out as quickly as they can, but Febby desperately needs this BKB, but needs to be careful. Lincoln Sphere gets popped, and that's when the Batrider initiation can hit. So Mith.Trust definitely coordinated enough to do this, and just lurking outside the base. Roshan's going to respawn, but I don't think it's going to end up being relevant. Unless Mith.Trust are really feeling afraid. Do they have double buyback TOTs? No, they don't. Lakel's just going to walk straight in, chipping away at the tier 3 tower, trying to force out the fortification. Febby going to deal with the illusions quickly. And looks like that's almost the BKB finished. Febby, please God, buy the BKB.
Yeah, nearly 300 agility on the Morphling now.
Yeah, actually, he doesn't have it close to finish. What am I talking about? He really needs more gold. Are they going to be able to grab somebody here? TNK is off to the side. Will he be bursted down? Doctor spots him and finishes him off with the Orca damage. Now the wall dropped down. R5 in some trouble. He's going to be brought down as well. SD. Here comes the right click. Febby being focused, but he's still alive, and looks like FXO with a very successful defense. Lakel's dropping very quickly in that fight, able to replicate his way back out, but Doctor, great awareness. He was just waiting off to the side. I think he got the vision off the flying vision from the static remnant. And yeah, FXO, they defend one more time. My math was completely off, guys. Weaver needs 2.9k. It doesn't need around 2k. So apologies for that. But looks like he will be able to finally farm up this BKB. And that'll be a 10-second BKB. Buybacks are slowly coming online for both teams, and Roshan is up for FXO to make their way down to try and claim. And if Myth try and fight this too aggressively, this could go really sour for them. Abba's here. He's got the Hex. He's got an Invis rune. Anarchy walking his way around as well. Abba, is he just going to try and steal it? Oh, this could be...
He's going to try to steal it.
Yeah, he's going to try and steal it. Abba, can you do it? This could be huge. Is he going to be able to grab it? He snatched it! He's on his way out! There's the orb! They pop down the Storm Spirit. Abba with the clutch Invis rune. The game based on RNG. Febby going to get swapped back out. He's got the BKB, but can he pop it in time? He time-lapses back, but still holding on to the BKB. Not using it just yet. Still trying to escape. Will he be brought down? Now pops the BKB. Now looks to the fight, but that's it. Ultra kill for Lakel's. And the Invis rune of the century.
That's gotta be GG.
For Abba. And
that's gotta be GG.
I think that's GG. Storm Spirit has buyback. He's gonna use it, but it's him and March versus the world right now. And I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're going to jump on top of Lakel's a long way. The wall drop down as well from long range. Can they bring him down? Close, but not quite. They finish him off. He's got buyback, however, and boots of travel. Doctor still alive. He's going to jump on top of R5. They're going to keep on fighting Doctor, knowing that this is do or die, but he's going to get grabbed by TNK. Now March in some trouble. He does have buyback. He's going to get coiled up. Buybacks right now. The Rax is still alive. The wall is still there. Can he vacuum everybody into this into this remaining wall? I don't know if he'll be able to, because we've actually got Puck dying in the fountain, just gonna keep marching away from the fight. Aber just gonna silence and should just be able to blink his way back to safety here. No, he doesn't. Okay. I think Ion Shell might actually be canceling it. He jaunts over the top. He's going to end up dying. It's gonna be Mega Creeps in just a second. Buyback from Puck, but it's taking such a long time that FXO have actually got fortification again. Lakel's finally rejoined the fight. I don't know where this guy's been hiding this whole time, and he immediately gets jumped. Can they bring him down? He pops the Matistyle. He's still losing life quickly, not morphing strength. He's gonna keep on right-clicking over onto March. He's got his Scotty up. March. That's it for him, and I think that's going to be it for the game as Mega Creeps.
Oh, what a game!
What a game!
What a game!
FXO, I mean, fighting until the bitter end. I think a lot of teams would have called GG on that bottom lane team fight when Febby got caught trying to deny the tower, but yeah, they hold on. They give us a couple more exciting team fights, and we're going to be taking it to a third and final game. Everything on the line. Wow, this is amazing. So guys, this is the AMD Dota 2 Premier League, and this is round 1 of this event. It's been a pleasure casting for you guys. I've been Baseskip. I've been here in association with Dota Talk. A reminder again, support Dota Talk. If you guys want to leave me any feedback as far as the cast was concerned, you can drop me an email, baskipdota@gmail.com. My co-caster today has been Swizzler, and I can only assume that he's going to be back for Game 3 with all of the excitement that's going on.
Hell yes.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to be back probably after another 5-minute break or so if the teams need a chance to calm down. And yeah, we'll be back for the third and final game of this best out of 3. Again, winner advances to play. I don't know if the other best of 3 is finished, but the winner of Zenith versus G7 and the loser will be going home. But we'll have a look at that after the third and final game, guys. Again, don't go too far. Next game coming up soon.